Welcome everybody to the Daily Mastermind. I'm Paul Baxter with Mortgage Mastermind Group, and I'm here to help you grow. Guys, today we're going to be talking about kind of a pet subject of mine, something that I have made it somewhat of a personal study to get knowledgeable. I don't think that there is any person, you can pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to companies, and I don't think that there is a single person, unless it is the person who is building these algorithms at Google, that knows all of the rules and all of the algorithmic indicators that is the foolproof plan to search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is more of a practice than a profession. And there are a lot of people that do it, that offer it. You can pay big money to have it done. But even at that, the person you're paying big money to have it done for you, it doesn't know all the rules. So over the next couple of days, we're kind of doing a combination class this week. Today, we're going to focus on what Google is actually looking for. How does the algorithm actually work? What does it mean to you? What are the specifics that you need to know about the Google algorithm? And then tomorrow and Friday, we're going to go deeply into a couple of specific strategies where you can incorporate what you learned today and earn front page search engine result page ranking within Google. So that being said, like I say before we started this recording, we are going to go very fast today. There's a lot of information to cover. I don't think any one person knows all of the algorithm indicators. The research I did, I found about 186 different indicators, and what I've included for you are the ones that are relevant to us and our business, or the most relevant ones. So again, we're going to go very fast here. Some of these things aren't going to, I'm going to try and make as much sense out of the items that we see here and tie it into your mortgage business so that you can get a full understanding. So Google's 10 ranking factors and what each one of them does. The first ranking factor is a domain factor. It's basically how your site's name ranks in the algorithm. Page level factors, how each page within your website, let's say you've got 5 pages, you've got a home page, an about me page, and a contact me page, a for buyers and a for sellers page. How does each one of those rank? How does each one of those pages factors rank into your site's ranking? Site level factors, how the site ranks as a whole. Backlink factors, how backlinks can increase your ranking or decrease your ranking if you do it incorrectly. Excuse me. User interactions, how the site's visitors affect your rank. There are a whole group of special algorithm rules, and we're going to talk about those and how they affect your ranking. Social signals. How does your social media activity factor into your website's ranking? And it is a big factor. Brand signals. Your brand can help you rank, but it doesn't necessarily hurt you if you don't have yourself branded in a specific way, and we'll talk about that specifically. On-site web spam factors, some of the biggies for getting your site deranked. And then off-page web spam factors, deranking factors that are not visible on the page itself. So like I said, we've got a lot to cover, so we're diving right in. The domain factors. So domain age, the head of Google Web Spam, his name is Matt Cutts, and I read through several different articles, and what I got out of one of them, the difference between a domain that's 6 months old versus 1 year old is really not that big at all, which means that it does have a count in the algorithm. Not that big at all means that it's not too much of a difference, but it does have a calculation in the algorithm. Keyword appears in the top level domain. Doesn't give a boost that it used to, meaning having your keyword in your domain name doesn't give the boost that it used to, but having your keyword in the domain still acts as a relevancy factor. when you think about when you do a search when you're doing a Google search, if one of the words that you included in your search term appears in a domain name, it's always highlighted in the domain name in the search engine result page. Exact match domain, it's referred to in the industry as EMDs. They may still give you an edge. However, there was an update, I want to say about 1.5 years ago, called Penguin. Google always names their algorithmic updates, and they named one called Penguin. And it was specifically looking for exact match domains that had a very low quality of content on the site. It basically was looking for, what happened is a lot of SEOers figured out that Google gave a lot of relevance to exact match domains prior to the Penguin launch. And so they were buying these keyword term domain names, and when people would land on them, it would be a page nothing but affiliate links and sales code. There was no content there, so people were getting unsavory results in their searches, so Google fixed that with the algorithm update. Having a country code top-level domain. So for any of my Canadian friends, and I'm looking through the list, I don't know that I have any of my Canadian friends online right now. Most of us, this is not a concern. We use .coms or .me, .net. Those are all U.S. coded. If you're a Canadian, you're going to want to use .cn or .ca. You can use the specific country code to get better results within your country. Now, it's not going to help us if we're using .com. We're not going to get any better search results for people in France searching for us, but it does make an algorithmic difference. Page level factors. Now, these are things that are on the page level. What's happening on an actual page itself that are factors on whether or not this page ranks. One of the biggest ones, and you guys will hear me talk about this a lot over the next couple of days, is the keyword in the title and title tag. The title tag is a web page's second most important piece of content besides the content of the page, and therefore sends a strong on-page SEO signal. So it goes back to, and we'll be training on this again over the next couple of days as I show you specifically how to utilize these things. We're going to talk a lot about keywords and what keywords are phrases or search terms that you're trying to rank for. For us, it would be things like first-time home buyers, mortgage lender in Pittsburgh, things like that. Title tag starts with the keyword according to SEO Moz data, which is SEO Moz is a large company that they track and test everything, big in the SEO world. Title tags that starts with the keywords tend to perform better than title tags with the keywords towards the end of the tag. So we're going to talk about that when we put the steps together, how important it is to include your keyword phrase in the beginning of your title tags and your titles. Keyword is most frequently used phrase in the document. Having a keyword appear more than any other acts as a relevancy signal. Now, we're going to talk later on in today's presentation about the dangers of overstuffing or keyword stuffing. So, and there is a fine line between the two. Content length. One of the biggest misnomers that are out there is that states that in order to get search engine optimized, it has to be 570 words or more. There is no set number, guys. I'm telling you, there is no set number. But think about it logically. Content with more words can cover a wider breadth and are likely preferred to shorter, superficial articles. Search engine SERPIQ found that content length correlated with search engine page results. So in essence, there is no set number for you to have on your content to get the result that you're looking for. But there is absolutely, you're going to get a stronger indication or a stronger algorithmic or a favorable algorithmic indicator if you've got more content than less content. Keyword density, although not as important as it once was, keyword density is still something Google uses to determine the topic of a web page, but going overboard, again, that's something we talk about, that fine line of using the keyword frequently. You don't want to do it too little. You don't want to do it too much. You got to play that fine line, and there is no set number on it. Page loading speed. This is a big one for us to pay attention to. Google and Bing, and I don't talk much about Bing, but I'll mention them here, use page loading speed as a ranking factor. So when you're buying your domains, how many of us on this call own our own domains and websites? Just to get a quick poll, how many of us on the call right now own our own domain names and websites? It can be a blog page. I'm just asking about your own domain names. Oh boy, that's a lot of sites, Jeff. Okay. So one of the things that what triggered me to ask this is that this is stating, or the research that I did states that both Google and Bing rank based on the speed, the loading speed of your website. Now, I can tell you I have done it myself in the past. I'll go the easy route and go to GoDaddy, and I'll purchase the most inexpensive domain name that fits for what I'm looking to do. Typically about $7 or $8 is what it costs you for a year to own the domain name. And then if I'm doing my own site, I typically pay for the first or entry-level hosting. It's just the basic hosting that they offer. I believe it's something like $6 a month. You can pay for it for like 2 years in advance. It costs you a total of like $110 for 2 years. That's the basic level hosting. Now, I will tell you guys, I have noticed over the last probably couple of years that GoDaddy's basic hosting package, the loading time has become slower and slower and slower, and it makes sense logically. There are thousands of websites being hosted on their basic server. That one server is trying to load thousands of websites all the time constantly, and so your load time is going to be a little bit slower. That's something to think about when you're looking at building websites or looking at SEOing a specific site. You may want to think of alternatives such as HostGator or Bluehost, which have far less traffic than GoDaddy does. They spend far less money on marketing. It only makes sense. It's not that they're lesser companies. They don't spend the same amount of money on advertising that GoDaddy does, and GoDaddy is the big fish in this pond. So that's just kind of a side note on when you go to think about building your own websites moving forward. Think about the hosting, because loading speed is an indicator. Duplicate content. I've got 2 asterisks by this one, guys. This is one. Please take a note. I don't know if you're taking notes on this, if you're planning on making a note on the PowerPoint once you get access to it. Take special note of this particular piece, duplicate content. Identical content on the same site, even slightly modified, can negatively influence a site's search engine visibility. Hugely important. Do not duplicate content, guys. I cannot tell you. That is probably and we'll talk about this a lot more tomorrow when we're talking about how to get ourselves found, specific strategies and steps. That's one of the things that I'm going to harp on, guys, and I firmly believe that that is probably the single, there's thousands of things you can do for the Google algorithm. The single most important is don't duplicate content. Make it original, make it compelling content, and relevant content, and you'll be successful. Here's one. I put a single asterisk by this because this is something I learned while I was doing the research. I did not know this until about 3 or 4 days ago, that image optimization is a page level factor. Images on a page send search engines important relevancy signals through their file name, their alternate text, the title, and the description and caption. Guys, that's huge. I had no idea that you could do that, and I don't know how many of you do your own website. Most of us, if we're doing our own website, we're typically using a purchased domain, we're hosting it, and we're using something like WordPress to be able to build and maintain our sites. Well, with WordPress, we're doing images and we're doing videos and things like that all the time. The media library gives us an opportunity, and I always just left it blank because I thought it had no relevance on the success of my website or not. But I always left putting the file name, adding something for the alternate text in the title and the description. I just always left it blank. I never thought it indicated much or it did much in terms of the algorithm. Turns out it does carry a substantial amount of weight in the algorithm on ranking your website. So when you're adding those images, make sure you include a little bit on the file name, alternate text, title, description, and caption. Recency of content updates. Google Caffeine update favors, there's an update. This one's probably 4 years old. It's an older update, but it is still relevant in the algorithm. It was called Google Caffeine. That update favored recently updated content, especially for time-sensitive searches. Highlighting this factor's importance, Google shows the date of a page's last update for certain pages. So I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but you'll do a Google search, and depends on the results that you get, but they'll show a date underneath the headline that the search brought forward. That's very important, okay? So frequently updating your site, frequently updating your content can carry a lot of weight in the algorithm. Magnitude of content updates. The significance of edits and changes is also a freshness factor. Adding or removing entire sections is more significant update than switching around the order of a few words. So you can't just go in and change, put your video above the text and call it done, and then go back a month later and put the text above the video and call it done. Significant updates. Historical update page. Historical updates. How often has a page been updated over a period of time? Is it daily? Is it weekly? Is it every 5 years? The frequency of a page's updates will help with your SEO rankings. Now, when we get into a specific strategy on this, I believe we're going to be talking about how to make this work utilizing ActiveRain. When you get into doing that, the frequency of your updates is what keeps you relevant or keeps you in a specific page's search engine page result. So keep that in mind. Again, keyword prominence, having the keyword appear in the first 100 words of a page's content appears to be a significant relevancy signal. I can't stress enough the importance of your key phrases, and placement of them is, as you'll learn tomorrow and the next day, very, very important. Outbound link quality. This is a huge one. Many SEOers think that linking out to authority sites helps send trust signals to Google. So when you're linking out, and what that means is in your article you say something like, you know, hey, if you're searching for that first-time home and you've been viewing Zillow's listings, you want to hyperlink that word Zillow. That's a link out. That's an outbound link. The quality of those help Google indicate whether or not you're relevant for that same search term. They must be relevant, though. According to SEMO Moz, search engines may use the content of the pages you link to as a relevancy signal. So again, you want to use links out that are relevant to what your article is about. Syndicated content is the content on the page original. If it's scraped or copied from an indexed page, it won't rank as well as the original or end up in their supplemental index. What supplemental index does is it's Google's way of filtering out duplicate content. And you absolutely, that's why I go back to saying, I said it a few minutes ago, make original content. Google has multiple ways of weeding out your site or your site's information if it's duplicate, if it's just plain old copy and paste type stuff. Helpful supplemental content. This is a big one. Helpful supplemental content is an indicator of a page's quality and therefore increases your Google rank. Examples include like a currency converter, a loan calculator on your site. That may be supplemental content. It's duplicate on other sites, but it is helpful supplemental content. So make sure that you're doing those kind of things. Number of outbound links. Too many outbound links may leak page rank, which can hurt search engine. What that means, too many outbound links, Google now sees your site as, well, they don't have anything of importance. It's all these other sites that have importance. Don't show them. That leaks out your page ranking. Multimedia. I know that there are a handful of you on this call with me currently that are doing consistently, and I know there are a handful on this call with me that would like to be doing consistently videos and other multimedia type elements. Videos is probably the biggest one. Having videos on your website are a huge quality indicator and therefore increase your algorithm number. The number of internal links pointing to a page. So what an internal link is let's say on my page, you're reading about the About Us section, and I say in there, and make sure to check out all the great information for first-time homebuyers in my first-time homebuyer section. And I put a link right there to an internal, to my first-time homebuyers page from some other page. So it's an internal link. It can actually point to the relevancy of each one of the pages and therefore increase the page rank of each one of them. Page host's domain authority. All things being equal, a page on authoritative host will rank higher than a page on a host with less authority. It just means that you want to have your pages on your main, you don't want your pages to have their own URL address. You want them to have an authority link, so to speak. It's why it works so well to do search engine optimization with things like ActiveRain or things like Blogger, because they've got the authority link up front. URL length. Search Engine Journal notes that excessively long URLs may hurt search engine visibility. What that means is don't run out and buy a domain name that says first-time homebuyer information and everything else.com. Nobody's going to, just don't do silly things like that. Don't try to buy a domain name because you think it's got the keywords right in the domain name, but it's overly long. They counteract each other. Here's a big one that I did not know prior to this. Two things that I did not know prior to my research, that citing references and sources like research papers do may be a sign of quality. The Google Quality Guidelines states that reviewers should keep an eye out for sources when looking at certain pages. So they know if you're gonna quote text or quote rates or things like that, Jeff has got a great question. reagentsuccesscenter.com, is that too long? No, it's really not. I don't know. Golly, I would try and buy it without the RE part, but no, that's not too long. That's not your complete. That's more of a website domain. That's not a whole sentence as a domain name. So that's kind of what they're getting at there, Jeff. References and sources, though, giving credit to your references and sources throughout your content is a great way to increase your visibility, to increase your site's ranking. Bullets and numbered lists. I had no idea about this either, but bullets and numbered lists help break up your content for readers, making them more user-friendly. Google agrees and prefers contents with bullets and numbers. So when you're putting together content and you're making points, try and do so by utilizing bullet points or utilizing, the 5 things it's going to help you with. Number 1, this. Number 2, that. Google likes that. I'm not sure why, but they obviously do. It's part of the research I found out. I did not know that either. All right, moving on to site level factors. Now this gets a little bit, this is back-end type stuff, but it's stuff that you want to pay attention to. Content provides value and unique insights. Google has stated that they're on the hunt for sites that don't bring anything new or useful to the table, especially thin affiliate sites. So if you've got a site out there, don't just have a bunch of links on a site that link to other sites that you've got. Google does not like that. Contact us pages, Google Quality Document, and this is a big one for you guys. All of us have our own sites. We've talked about the About Us page, but the Contact Us page is actually an algorithmic indicator. Google likes it when you have an About page because they feel like it's more trustworthy. And that's what it boils down to. They will index a site faster and more relevant with a better search engine page result than sites without a Contact Us page. Domain trust and trust rank, the site trust, measured by how many links away your site is from highly trusted seed sites, is a massively important ranking factor. Again, that's not something you guys need to concern yourself too much with. Based on the way that I'm going to teach you how to do search engine optimization, you're going to already have the domain trust and the trust rank going. Site updates, again, goes back to how often is the site updated, especially when new content is added to the site. That's an indicating factor. Presence of a sitemap. Now, this is one I didn't know about either, but a sitemap helps search engines index your page easier. In essence, it makes your site easier to navigate, and therefore Google can see that. So it's a simple button that you click, or it's very simple to add a sitemap if you don't have one already. In terms of service and privacy pages, again, this goes back to the way that you and I are going to be doing search engine optimization. It's not anything that you've got to sit there and go, oh my gosh, now I've got to create a terms of service and privacy page. No, you don't have to do that. The sites that we're tapping into because of the domain trust already have that there. This is, guys, if you haven't noticed, but under all of the types of SEO that we've talked about so far, duplicate content has been addressed on all of those parts. Duplicate content has been touched on each and every segment that we've gone into. This time it says duplicate pages and meta information across your site may bring down all of your pages' visibility. Here's a big one, guys, that you absolutely have to think about, and think about it in your own terms. This absolutely makes sense to me that mobile optimize carries a big indicator. More people are looking at websites. More people are doing their browsing or internet surfing via their mobile stuff. So it only makes sense that Google carries a little bit of algorithmic weight for sites that are mobile friendly. And it's just a simple matter of turning on the responsive portion of your WordPress site or any other site. Most of your sites out there, like if you're building Weebly sites or Wix sites, those have a simple button that you click to make responsive. Very easy to do to turn on mobile, but make sure you do it. YouTube, there is no doubt that YouTube videos are given preferential treatment in search engine result page. Probably because Google owns it, but the fact is that YouTube traffic is huge. I mean, Google would rather show YouTube videos in the search engine result page than anything else. Absolutely, and I will tell you, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Here's a little, what should I call it? A little teaser for tomorrow, guys. I'm going to show you tomorrow, step by step, exactly how to get your videos to the front page of Google with a simple term like Kansas City loan tips. You can get your YouTube videos found. Very simply, very easily done. Okay. Backlink factors, there are several of those. Linking domain age. Backlinks from aged domains may be more powerful than new domains. Makes sense. You know, if you backlink to a site that's a little older, that's more indexed. Number of linking root domains. The number of referring domains is one of the most important ranking factors in Google's algorithm. Again, the root domain, what it breaks down to is having something having your URL for what you're trying to rank, the page you're trying to rank, have a root domain that is already ranked or powerful. Something like activerain.com/Paul Baxter's blog. That root domain already carries, the root domain being ActiveRain, already has lots of indexing, lots of relevancy, and is trusted by Google. Alt tag for image links. Alt text is an images version of anchor text, and what it basically does is the image is out there. It becomes a URL when it's out there on the web, and the URL links directly back to your web page. That's very important to do so, and I didn't realize the power of that until I started reading this stuff. The page rank of the referring page is an extremely important ranking factor. So again, if you're going to link to other sites, if you're going to use links on your site or backlink, you absolutely have to be doing it with URLs that already have page ranking. Don't go 10 pages back and use a URL because you like the content on it. If it's relevant, make sure that it has a good search engine page rank first. Links from competitors. Here's a big one that I didn't know about. Links from other pages ranking in the same search engine result page may be more valuable for a page's rank for that particular keyword. So don't be afraid to link to your competitors. You know, hey, some great info on this loan program was seen over at Bank of America's website. That's a backlink to your competitor, and link to that. But then explain why they want to come back to you. Social shares of referring page. This is going back to some social type stuff. The amount of page level social shares may influence the link's value. So how many times has a page that you're linking back to, how many times has that page been shared on Facebook or retweeted or things like that? Diversity of link types. Having an unnaturally large percentage of your links come from a single source, forum profiles, blog comments, one specific page, may be a sign of web spam, or on the other hand, links from diverse sources is a sign of a natural link profile. We're not going to be doing a ton of backlinking. We're going to be doing some of the very, very basic backlinking exercises to get the result that we're looking for. Sponsored links or other words around links. So you don't want to include the word check out my sponsors, or here's a link for my partners, because that decreases their value. Contextual links. That's what we're going to be using a lot of. Links embedded inside of a page's content are considered more powerful than links on an empty page or found elsewhere on the page. Now we're going to be using a lot of contextual links as we set up and we do our own SEO and search engine optimization over the next couple of days. Link title attribution. The link title, the text that appears when you hover over a link, is also used as a weak relevancy signal. Link location in content. A link at the beginning of a piece of content will carry slightly more weight than a link placed at the end of the content. Goes back to our keywords type stuff. Same concept there, works the same with linking. Link location on a page. Where a link appears on a page is important. Generally, links embedded on a page's content are more powerful than in the footer or in the sidebar area. So like for those that are using WordPress, you can set up little widgets in the sidebar, you know, FHA mortgage info, and have a link over there on the side. That's not going to be as valuable in the page rank as if you did a small article in the middle, 50, 100 words that's, hey, and if you'd like more FHA regulation information, click here and go to their website. That's going to be more powerful. Again, relevancy, linking domain relevancy. A link from a site in a similar niche is significantly more powerful than a link from a completely unrelated site. Important there. Be relevant to what you're linking to. Keyword in the title. Google gives extra love to links on pages that contain your page's keyword in the title. Excerpts, linking to excerpts is what it is. Link from authority sites. A link from a site considered an authority site likely passes more juice than a link from a small micro niche site. You want to use the, use the national FA, use the big sites and not the little ones, even if the information is more relevant or if you deem it to be more better, just rewrite the article yourself instead of using that link. Backlink age, according to Google patent, older links have more ranking power than newly minted backlinks. Reciprocal links, Google's link schemes, and you can link to that from the PowerPoint when you get it. Page lists excessive link exchanging as a link scheme to avoid. And we're going to talk about that in the web spam stuff in a minute here as well. Forum profile links do not carry as much weight as a regular URL address because that forum / there are thousands of them. Google doesn't see it as relevant. Word count on linking content. A link from a 1,000-word post is more valuable than a link from inside of a 25-word snippet. Again, there's no set number, and I get that question asked constantly when I'm talking about search engine optimization. Well, how many words should it be? As many as you need to tell the story that you're trying to tell, quite frankly, because there is no set number. You want to get more power out of what you're writing. If you want to get the full force of what you're trying to do, write a longer article or write a longer post. If you don't need as much juice out of it, you just want to get the words out there, write a shorter post. Quality of linking content. Links from poorly written or spun content don't pass as much value as links from well-written, multimedia enhanced content. Matt Cutts, again, who is the web spam guy over at Google, has confirmed that site-wide links are compressed to count as a single link. So if I have a link to the FHA website on all 5 of my pages on my website, it only counts as one link. Okay, it only counts as one link. User interaction. This is a big one, guys. This is one you want to pay attention to because every piece of user interaction is important to what we're doing. Organic click-through rate for a keyword. Pages that get clicked more and a click-through rate may get a search engine result page boost for that particular keyword. Organic click-through rate for all keywords. A page or site's organic click-through rate for all keywords it ranks for may be a human-based user interaction signal. So in essence, if people are seeing your stuff in the search engine result page and they're clicking your site, that click-through rate, each time it goes higher and higher and higher, the better and better and better you're going to be doing in the rankings. Direct traffic. What direct traffic refers to is if somebody directly navigates to your website. They type in the URL address to get there. Google has confirmed that it uses data from Google Chrome to determine whether or not people visit the site and how often. Because of that, a site with lots of traffic is going to generally get higher rankings in the Google search engine result page with a search. The other indicator is repeat traffic. Again, coming from Google Chrome, they also look at whether or not users go back to that page after visiting it the first time. So they're looking for repeat visitors. They're looking to see how much organic click-through rate you get from searches as well as direct traffic. Chrome bookmarks. We know that Google collects Chrome browser data. Pages that get bookmarked in Chrome will also get a little bit of a boost. Number of comments. So if you're doing a blog page and you enable comments, the number of comments will increase because it shows user interaction. Dwell time is a big one. It's always been rumored that Google has looked at dwell time. Well, it's now been proven that Google does look at how long people stay on your sites. And that's a big indicator for Google. The longer people stay on the site, obviously that's more positive for you. So make sure your content is compelling to get them to want to stay. Some of the special algorithm rules, and these are some that will work for us and what we do. Gives us an opportunity to tap into search engine result page without having to be a big brand like Quicken Loans and spend all the big money. Query deserves freshness. That is one of the special algorithm rules, and what that means is Google gives newer pages a boost for certain search terms. Current FHA info is one of those terms that Google will actually give the query a QDF tag because it's today's info, like current rates. Well, rates today versus rates a year ago are very, very different. So Google has to give that kind of a search a query deserves freshness tag because it's relevant to what's, time sensitive. Query deserves diversity. Diversity would be, buying a home. FHA, like very generic, basic terms. Google will automatically give that a diversity tag so that they can get information. It could, are they buying a home for themselves? Are they buying a vacation home? FHA what? First-time home buyer, VA what? VA hospitals, VA loans. It may show different results or diversify the results for the person. User browsing history. That's one that we all know has been part of Google's algorithm for a few years now. How many of us on this call have gone and done a Google search, and the next time we go to do it, because we searched for blueberries one time, we start typing in berry and it starts sending us stuff for strawberries and blackberries and quisenberry, you name the berry. So Google, your search history is part of it. User search history. Again, search chains influence the search engine result page. So if I searched for reviews one time and the next time I search for toasters, well, I may get one or two of the results may come up to be toaster reviews because my search chain led to that. Geo-targeting, Google gives preference to sites with a local server IP or county-specific domain name extension. So if you wanted to do like, mortgage loans of Pittsburgh, that my domain has a very local specific IP, so that's geo-targeting. I may get a better search engine page result because I've got that geo tag or that geographical information in my domain. Safe search, I don't think anybody on this call is serving up pornography or putting any foul words in their marketing materials or any of their blog posts. Just know that if you do use cuss words in some of your posting or some of your content, Google can block based on specific words, and people do use the safe search. I will tell you, there are homes that keep the Google searching. Safe search is left on by default because, you've got children in the home. So just be careful of that. Don't use any content that even if it's the word damn or something like that, you just want to avoid it anyway. A big one that you guys need to make, this is fairly new, been happening a little over a year now, but something that is becoming more and more prevalent every time you turn around and every day. Google+. Google shows higher results for authors and sites that have added the Google+ authorship to their Google+ account. We will be going through that in the near future. If you have not done so already, you absolutely got to get your Google Plus stuff going. Copyright complaints. Google downranks pages with copyright content complaints, so don't use pictures that are not yours. Be very careful. You get a copyright complaint and Google will de-index you or de-rank your site. Local searches, Google often places Google Plus local results above the normal organic search engine results page results. Yeah, enough said about that. Use Google Local. They want their results to be local because they feel like the end user gets a better user experience by getting local results. Image results, Google elbows our organic listings for image results. For searches commonly used in Google image search, I don't know very many people that actually do a Google search with images. I use image search all the time, but that's if I'm looking for a specific picture of something. Easter egg results, and this one's kind of just for fun. Google has a dozen or so what they call Easter egg results. For example, so I don't know how many of you know some of them. Like on Google, if you type in the search, if you type in regular Google search, barrel roll, B-A-R-R-E-L-L, space roll, your whole screen will kind of roll on you. If you go into Google image search and you type in Atari Breakout, a little game will pop up and you can play a game right there on your screen. Those are just little fun things. Those don't have anything to do with SEO. Social signals, big one, guys. So number of tweets makes pretty much sense. The number of tweets a page has influence in it will influence its rank on Google. The authority of the Twitter user. So if you've got somebody that's a very popular Twitter user, lots of followers, they tweet your link, boom, you get some Google juice from that. Somebody retweets your link that is not so authoritative, 20, 30 follow, you're not going to get a huge Google boost from that. Number of Facebook likes makes sense. If you post a link, your URL link on Facebook, and you get a whole bunch of likes for your link, that's going to give you a better social signal and a higher ranking. Shares on Facebook, even better than likes. When somebody shares your URL address to Facebook, that's another link out, and that's a social signal as well. The authority of the Facebook user makes sense, again, same as Twitter. If somebody has a lot of followers, a lot of friends on Facebook, that's going to give me more weight than somebody with less friends or less followers. Pinterest pins, same thing. It's insanely popular social media sites with lots of public data. It only makes sense that Google is utilizing pins on Pinterest with your URL linked as an indicator. Votes on social sharing sites, places like, and I don't use most of the, I'm familiar with Reddit. I've never heard of StumbleUpon. I've never heard of Dig. Not sure, what that means. I'm assuming it's the same as like likes and shares on Facebook. Going back to Google+, the authority of the Google+ user's account, meaning if I've got a ton of people in my circles, a one-up from those people means a lot more than a one-up from somebody that doesn't have too many friends or people in their circles. Verified Google+ authorship. February 2013, the Google CEO Eric Schmidt famously claimed within search results information tied to verified online profiles will be ranked higher than content without such verification, which will result in most users naturally clicking on the top verified results. In other words, tie your Google Plus to all of your online presence. Do Google authorship for your blog pages. Do Google authorship for your YouTube channel. Do Google authorship for your websites, all of it. Make sure you've got Google authorship set up for that. Social signal relevancy, Google uses relevancy information from the account sharing, the content, and the text surrounding the link. Meaning, did somebody just post my URL address with a story about Bobby hitting a home run, or does the text support what the link was? Site-level social signals, site-wide social signals may increase a site's overall authority, which will increase search visibility. What that basically means is make sure that you've got your like us on Facebook button. Make sure you've got your share on Facebook button everywhere on your website. All of your social icons and links should be on all of your sites. Brand signals. This is kind of an important one, guys, because as we go through this, what you're looking to do is grow your brand with each and every turn. People search for brands. If people search for your site in Google, something like, legacyfinancial.com, lockinbill.com, themortgagechicks.com, if they're searching for those things specifically, Google takes that into consideration. They determine that you're a brand, and you'll get much greater page results the more frequently that happens. Site has a Facebook page with likes on it. So brands have Facebook pages, and you want to get likes on your fan page. Official LinkedIn company page. They link Google knows that most companies have a LinkedIn profile for their business. And at that, they do take into consideration how many employees have included a LinkedIn profile that say they work for your brand or your company. Legitimacy of social media accounts. A social media account with 10,000 followers and 2 posts will not get the same ranking as a social site with 10,000 followers and a strong activity level going on. Co-citations, brands get mentioned without getting linked to, so if somebody else does a post and includes your brand but it's not a link to it, that's a signal. RSS feeds, Google owns this. I only included it for some of those that know about RSS feeds. The more people who add your RSS feed, obviously that's going to increase your brand signal because it's gaining popularity if people are subscribing to your RSS feed. And FeedBurner is owned by Google, so it only makes sense that they're going to give some relevance to that. Brick and mortar location with Google Plus local listings. This goes back to our Google Plus stuff. And don't get me wrong, please don't think that means you guys that are working from home or working, don't have an office specifically. You can do this too. You can still get this indicators. We've got a really great program on step-by-step on how to set up your Google Plus local account, even if you don't have a brick and mortar location, and get the impact that Google Local gives you with that. On-site web spam factors. Panda and Penguin are the 2 most recent, well, Hummingbird is the most recent algorithmic update. But Panda, sites with low quality content, sites with duplicate content, they get deranked through the Panda software. It actually runs your site through the Panda software looking for other sites on the web that have the same content as you, and if it matches, I mean, you're literally going to be deranked quicker than it's not even funny. There's no reason to ever duplicate content, and they've got an algorithm piece that is designed to look specifically for that. Redirects. None of us on this call do sneaky redirects. Yes, we do squeeze pages, but none of those are sneaky squeeze pages. We're using Google's squeeze pages or built-in squeeze pages to do things. So that's not something we all need to concern ourselves with. It's more of those things that, a sneaky redirect is if somebody types in your URL or clicks on your URL address, it takes them there for the second and then quickly redirects them to your sales page that they can't get out of. Site over-optimization includes on-page factors like keyword stuffing, header tag stuffing, excessive keyword decorations. That's the 4th time I've mentioned it, guys. Don't overuse your keywords. Page over-optimization. Many people report, unlike Panda, Penguin targets individual pages, and even then, just for certain keywords, why good original content is so important. Guys, I can't stress it enough. On-site web spam factors, things that you can do on your site that can hurt you. The page layout algorithm penalizes sites for ads or too much stuff above the fold, too many click-throughs, like having your squeeze page above the fold, not a good idea. You want to include your content first and then your call to actions. So that you can get ranked better. Auto-generated content, Google does not like the article spins or whatever they are. Google hates that. Google will start deranking your site based on those things very, very quickly. Meta tag spamming, keyword stuffing can also happen in the meta tag. So when you're creating your descriptions and your title tags, you want to make sure that you're giving it more of a phrase than just stuffing in a whole bunch of keywords in there. I've seen it happen too many times. So make sure that you're not doing that stuffing stuff and come up with original content. Off-page, a natural influx of links. If all of a sudden you've built your web page and out of nowhere, poof, you've got 20 or 30 links all of a sudden to authoritative sites that make sense, Google sees that as it's an unnatural link profile, and Google will derank you for that. Linking domain relevancy, the famous analysis by MicrosoftMasters.com found that sites with an unnaturally high amount of links from unrelated sites were more susceptible to Penguin. Basically, the Penguin software was designed to, there used to be an SEO practice a couple of years ago where you would pay a guy, I don't know, 25 bucks a month. And what he would do is he would get you 100 to 150 backlinks to your site for that 150 bucks a month, or for that 25 bucks a month. It used to work until Google came out with the Penguin software, and Google's Penguin software is actually looking for that kind of a thing because they want the end result for the user to be a good result. They want them to get relevant content to what they were searching for. They want to have good end user interfaces. Well, that's what all these software changes and that's what these algorithmic changes were about, is to make sure that people got the kind of results they were looking for instead of spammy stuff. And if you know these rules, you can actually take advantage of them and generate or get front page Google search engine result page ranking naturally. Google Sandbox. Okay, so what Google Sandbox is if they notice, if you violate some of these rules, some of these web spam factors, they'll actually put you into Google Sandbox, which is, it's a waiting place. It means that your site is there. They haven't deranked you yet, but they're going to have a human being physically go on your site and look at it and determine whether or not it's a spam site or not, and then make an actual determination to rank you or not rank you. It's a human being doing that, and as you can well imagine, that human being has anywhere, has thousands of websites sitting in the sandbox at any one given time. That can take very, very long period of time if you end up in the sandbox. So if you avoided breaking these rules, you won't end up there. And you can send a reconsideration request. You can, if your site has been deranked, you can petition Google to re-rank your site. What they'll do is, again, it puts it in a sandbox situation where a person physically goes in there, looks at what you got, looks at what your site has, what kind of content it is, looks at what flagged the site for being in the sandbox to begin with, and determines whether or not that's a ranking factor for your site. All right, so the summary is for today, guys, there are many, and I do mean many, factors for getting ranked. Keywords and relevant links can boost your visibility. Social media is now a big part of the search engine result page. That's what SERP stands for, search engine result page. Copied content will not work. They repeated it multiple times, and I found it all over the place in the research. Keyword stuffing, again, a big no-no, and it will not work for you. It will only serve to derank your site. What I got out of this whole thing, out of all the research that I did and all the 186 different elements of ranking your website, and again, that's not even a complete list. That's just what I could get my hands on. All of those different factors, there are a handful of them. There's a handful of key elements that if you use them correctly, if you put them in order, if you work them the right way, you can get found on the front page of Google fairly easily. It takes a little bit of time and a little due diligence, and over the next couple of days we are definitely going to get into that wholeheartedly. As I said at the beginning, guys, this is not the most exciting of classes, but I think it is absolutely important that before you start trying to do search engine optimization, before you start getting into strategies to try and get to the front page, you have to understand the basic elements of how Google works or how Google thinks. The reality of the whole thing is Google works, or Google thinks, in one way. Give the end user a good quality experience and they'll come back for more. It is the reason why Google is the #1 search engine, period. You can combine Bing, Yahoo, Yelp, I mean, you can combine all of the next 10 in the list of the top search sites. You can combine the 2 to number 10. You can add their numbers together, and they still don't equal the number of searches that happened in 5 hours on Google. So if you can understand how Google works, you can participate and play the game. And that's what we're going to talk about over the next couple of days. Guys, girls, any questions? I know it's pretty boring stuff. There's not a whole lot of fun in talking about SEO until we start talking about the actual putting it into practice stuff, which we're going to do tomorrow. All right, great, Steve. So, and that's what I was looking for. Are there any questions about what we covered today, or are you guys all just kind of buckled in and seatbelts fastened? Now, just so you know, if you are registered for today's class, you are already registered for tomorrow's class. And tomorrow we're going to go step by step specifically in how to put these items that you learned today into practice to get yourself seen on the front page of Google. Great stuff. I know I took you a little bit longer, guys. I absolutely respect your time, and I apologize for going a few minutes over today. Thank you for so much for investing your time with me today. I hope that I repaid that investment to you by teaching you something a little bit new. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a fantastic day, everybody, and thank you for joining us here at the Mortgage Mastermind Group. We are here to help you grow.